Now check on our weather, and there's a huge event going on this weekend at the Chicago Botanic Garden.
And ABC 7 meteorologist Mike Kaplan is live out there, and I know he brought some family members with today. We get to see soon, right, Mike?
Yes, I'll show you Athena, Isis, and Apollo here in a couple minutes, and we're going to walk down and talk to Heather here in a second. But this is a great time of year to be out here at the Botanic Garden. A little earlier, we had Kevin, our photographer, out here taking some pictures. Some of the gorgeous foliage, still some flowers going out here, but obviously the trees drawing some big interest. And probably in your yard, you're seeing the changes taking place, and you're already saying, wow, fall is here. Winter's just around the corner. What can I do to keep my garden going? And by golly, Heather Sherwood's here to tell us bulbs are the answer. Now, is this a good time to start digging in the soil and put bulbs in?
Yeah, it's the perfect time. Usually about 55 degrees is what you want the soil temperature, which is usually the second, third week of October, and it's just right about now.
All right, now you've got several different types of bulbs. They're different sizes, and this kind of corresponds to when they will bloom.
Yeah, the smaller the bulb, the earlier it blooms. The larger the bulb, the later it blooms. Is the general rule of thumb.
All right, what are some of these that you have out here?
The little teeny tiny ones right here, these are crocus, Tommy crocus, and they bloom in late March, early April. And of course, our big, huge tulips that are usually in mid-May sometimes. And then the alliums and fritillaria, which bloom a lot later.
Okay, and the alliums, the fritillaria, and of course the daffodils are not as attractive to the critters.
No, the stinkier the bulb or the more odorific, the better it is to keep animals and critters away from digging them up in the spring.
Odorific. See, that's why I'm not bothered by pests. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hey, we've got some clouds rolling in here over the Chicago Botanic Garden. Temperature-wise, it's been cool. Heather was talking about 55 for the soil temp. We're at about 52 for the air temp, so definitely the infusion of cool air has arrived. Satellite and radar composite, we really are seeing the effects of cold air aloft and warm air due to surface heating, bubbling up a few showers and even a couple thunderstorms in the area. The local Doppler radar showing that a little bit better. You can see these very, very small, but in some cases, intense elements of rain working their way southbound out of Wisconsin to northern Illinois. We'll be fighting these for the next couple of hours. I'm hoping that we'll be fine here because in a few moments, Heather's going to show us how to plant those bulbs stylistically and properly so that your bulbs aren't growing into the ground. That's coming up in a few. Sylvia and Ellen, back to you.
Chicago Botanic Garden's annual Spooky Pooch Parade is this weekend in Glencoe.
And ABC 7 meteorologist Mike Kaplan is in Glencoe right now, and maybe he'll show us some spooky pooches later. Hi, Mike.
Absolutely. Weather permitting, we're going to show you the spooky pooches here at about 4:45. But Heather Sherwood is about to show us how to plant our bulbs. Before you start digging in the ground, you got to make sure you pick out a good bulb. You got an example of a clunker.
Yeah, this bulb right here is no good. It's got rot on it. It's really hard, and it's the different discoloration is not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is a nice, bright, white bulb, potentially with some paper on the outside of it. And we always plant pointy side up.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be growing into the wrong direction and you're not going to see your flower next year.
Exactly.
All right, so you've picked out healthy bulbs at the store. You're going to put them in point up, but how deep do you put them in the ground and what's the best way to arrange them? Some people, I think, do it the wrong way and it looks kind of hokey.
Yeah, always pointy side up, and whatever the bulb you're working with, it's 2.5 to 3 times that depth. Okay. So this bulb is about 3 inches deep, so you're talking 6 to 9 inches underneath the ground is how you want to plant them.
Okay, now you've got a spade here, but you've also got like an example here of a knife that's got etchings there.
Yeah, the smaller the bulbs, you can use smaller tools and equipment, and a lot of hand tools come with measurement markers on them, and that's a good way to tell how deep you're going with all your tulips and daffodils.
All right, should we put them in rows, or is it better to have a more natural design?
I definitely always like the more natural design, and so I always plant in 3s, 5s, in clumps, big holes, you know, and I always like to keep the same plants or same type of plant together. So the daffodils stay with the daffodils, the tulips with tulips. And then you just press them into the ground.
Does it matter how far apart?
All bulbs like to be colonized, if you will. So they like to grow together, and putting them 2 to 3 inches apart to let daughters and sisters grow upon them is great. And then in 2 to 3 years, you can divide them and give them to your friends.
Need to fertilize or anything at this point?
I usually fertilize after I'm done covering up the hole. I'll take some fertilizer when I'm finished, and also you always want to water them in when you're all done.
Excellent tips. All right, so no toy soldiers, no bulbs in a row. We don't like that.
No, we want no straight lines. We want natural, native looking.
That's my style too, Heather. All right, let's talk about the weather here. It's definitely closing in on us here at the CBG. Temperature-wise, about what we expected, same as yesterday, low 50s out at O'Hare. Not much wind at present time. Barometric pressure has been fluctuating most of the day. The dogs coming up.
Finally.
All right. We've been waiting.
Absolutely.
We'll get back to you. Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks. Now on our weather forecast and the spooky pooch parade.
Mike Kaplan standing by live from the the Botanic Garden with an update for us. Mike?
Well, our hopes to have all three of my dogs in their full costumes went down the drain literally because we just had an amazing grapple storm here of soft hail. I posted some video on my Facebook page of what it did to our ABC7 HD umbrella out here. But the weather's going to be much better on Saturday for the Spooky Pooch Parade, Heather. And let's talk a little bit about that. You got dogs in costume.
Yeah, it's good. The only day of the year that we're allowed to have dogs here, and it's from 1 to 3 on Saturday. There's 5 different costume categories that you can enter in, and I believe you're judging the best of show this year.
Yes, I get the dubious distinction of picking the overall winner, but it's just so much fun to see all these people, how creative they get with the costumes, not only for the dogs, but for themselves, too.
Yeah, there's one that's the botanical pooch, which is hilarious to me to see the people that dress up their dogs and match with them and everything.
Absolutely. Now, folks can register for that online or just pay for it when they get here, either way?
Either way, and get here early to see all the costumes and help judge yourself. And there's going to be the parade about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then judging right then and there. And afterwards at 2:30, I think you're giving the final results.
Absolutely. Prizes will be awarded, and they're just too valuable to even mention at this point. But it's an amazing display here out at the CBG. Reminder, the Spooky Pooch Parade this Saturday. Don't come tomorrow. Come on Saturday. The official thing will be taking place from 1 to 3 o'clock, but come out here a little sooner, right?
Definitely.
Say bye, Isis. Yeah, you're kind of soggy. They look better earlier.
Okay, I'm so disappointed because your wife made those costumes for your dogs, and we didn't even get to see
She
it.
made them, huh?
She made them.
I know. She made them by scratch.
Yeah.
But now they're wet. They're shrinking.
Well, you got to post them later for us, Mike.
Okay, we'll look for that.
Absolutely.